Guys, it's your girl, Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, where we teach you how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. During this show, you will hear solo episodes from me, where I'll show you how I have landed and negotiated 5- and 6-figure speaking contracts and licensing deals. You'll also hear from our amazing guests who have grown enormous speaking businesses by utilizing sales and marketing principles that work. If you want to grow your speaking business, listen to this podcast, and then afterwards, head on over to ashleynicolekirkwood.shop and grab my book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hey, y'all. What's up to the Speak Your Way to Cash family? It's Ashley Kirkwood back again with another podcast episode. But this time, guys, I am actually going to let you listen in to a live video that I recorded. Now, if you're listening to this live video on the podcast and you're like, I want to join your next live, I want to ask you questions, I want to be able to get feedback about my business, then you have to follow me on Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show, and make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page. All right. Make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page because that's where I go live. I also sometimes go live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group, but enough about that. Even though you may have missed it live, you're about to hear it again. So listen into this live episode and let me know what you think. You can always send me an email to ashley@speakyourwaytocash.com. Let's listen in. Hello, everyone. Really excited to be here with you guys now we're in the evening, this evening, to talk to you about the cost of closing 6-figure contracts, because we often talk about, I'll speak for myself, I often talk about how to close 6-figure contracts, what you need before you close 6-figure contracts. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what it will cost you to close a 6-figure contract. So if you're interested in that conversation, then stick around. This is really going to be for entrepreneurs, speakers, thought leaders, or anyone else who's interested in doing business with corporations on a high level. So if you know nothing else about me, know that I'm typically talking to people who are ready to play at the highest levels, who want to challenge themselves in their business, who want to go where it's not common to go. The air is thinner up here. Everyone doesn't talk about this because there are requirements, and that's typically what I deal in. So if it's your first time here, welcome. Just drop a first time in the chat so I can say hello to you and welcome you in. If you're listening to this on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, thank you for being an avid listener of our podcast. If you're joining us via Clubhouse, thank you for inviting people in for these conversations. Wherever you are watching or listening from, I appreciate your support. Now, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ashley Nicole Kirkwood. I am the founder of 2 companies, Mobile General Counsel and Speak Your Way to Cash. As the founder of Mobile General Counsel, I'm an IP lawyer. I negotiate and close corporate deals, licensing deals. We've done some TV and movie negotiations. We close deals at Mobile General Counsel. And I took that expertise and that experience and brought it on the speaking side to Speak Your Way to Cash, which is where I teach speakers how to land 5- and 6-figure corporate speaking contracts. Oftentimes, I'm also the founder, or I don't know if you call it the producer of a dynamic event that's coming up in November called Speak Your Way to Cash Live, and the author of a brand new book that is now available for pre-order called Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. So if you're interested in pre-ordering that book, which drops November 15th, go to speakyourwaytocash.com/book or just speakyourwaytocash.com. You'll find info for everything there. So now that we've done introductions, let's get into what we're going to be discussing tonight. Okay. And I have a quick announcement. If you're someone who's watching or listening to this and you want to attend the event and you're listening to this on Labor Day, which is when it was recorded, tonight we are doing a special on the event where if you register today, even though it is past the early bird registration, we will give you access to our pre-event prospecting party, which is where I will literally be sharing my screen and showing you how I find corporations and the decision makers to pitch, the technology that I use to pitch them, the emails that I send them, the LinkedIn messages that I send them, literally taking you behind the scenes to prospecting. It's called a pre-event prospecting party. So that is what you have access to today. Everyone else who already got their ticket, you're already in there. It happens September 20th. But for everyone who has not bought their ticket yet and they were just waiting to buy their ticket, you need to buy your ticket today on Labor Day to take advantage of that bonus that already otherwise expired. Okay? Now, Any questions about that, send me a DM, but get your ticket today so you can attend that pre-event prospecting party. Literally, the cost of the event is, this one bonus is worth the entire cost of the event. Got to put that out there. Got to make sure you all know about that because that's critical. And I don't even run sales. This was like what we did. This is our sale for Labor Day. We typically don't even do it, but I was like, let me do something for them. So now that I've gotten my formalities out of the way, I want to talk about something serious. I know it's a holiday and we're celebrating the labor movement and a whole lot of stuff, but let's talk about something really, really serious, but also enlightening tonight. And that is, what is the cost, Ashley? What is the cost of landing a six-figure contract? Because a lot of people hear me talk about, you can land a six-figure contract. You can believe in yourself. You can do this. And so if you have a friend, because I didn't even have time to send out an email about being live or send out a text message about being on Clubhouse, tag them, share this with them, get them in the room, because we're going to talk about some real stuff tonight. And I would advise you get your notepads out so you can take a little bit of notes. And what I'm going to do after we get through this content, I'm going to host a Q&A, but only on Clubhouse. So my name on Clubhouse is, actually, I should know that by heart. My name on Clubhouse is Ashley Nicole ESQ. We're in the Speak Your Way to Cash Lounge on Clubhouse. You can meet us there for the Q&A after this, but continue watching for now where you're at. Here's what we're going to talk about. What is the cost? What will it cost you to land a six or multi-six-figure corporate speaking contract? Because we always talk about what it takes to get it, but let's talk about what it's going to cost you. And these are going to be things that you may not have otherwise thought about. What I have found is that for some people, the reason why they aren't pitching a six-figure contract is because there's an information gap. There's an information gap. And what I do at Speak Your Way to Cash, and what I do by writing the Speak Your Way to Cash book, and by hosting Speak Your Way to Cash Live, and by hosting the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast over 100 episodes in, is I seek to close the information gap. But the first thing it's going to cost you, if you're trying to land a six-figure contract and you are not proficient in how to do it, you have not mastered yet how to sell to corporations on a high level, you have not mastered yet how to get repeat clients or where to find your ideal customer, the first thing it's going to cost you is some time. And why do I say it's going to cost you time? This is the first cost. And we have 3 costs. And then I'm going to give you some tangible tips about how to determine your topic. And then I'm going to give you some action steps. If you're ready for this, just drop ready in the comments. And if you have questions along the way about anything that I say, then please, please, please do let me know your questions so that I will be able to help you to get there. And then, of course, I want to make sure you all know where to get your tickets for the event, because I know some of you are like, gonna make sure you do that before midnight so you can take advantage of that extra bonus. All right. So the first thing it's going to cost, and if you're taking notes and you're somebody who's like, look, I got to take notes to pay attention, and you want to drop these things in the chat, then dope. I love it. I'm with it. If you have any questions on Clubhouse before the Q&A, just put it in the back channel, press that little arrow, and send me a message. All right, first thing it's going to cost you is a little bit of time. And I say it's going to cost you time because you have to be proficient in the corporate landscape. It's really, really important that you understand the corporate landscape. So, and why do I say it's important that you understand the corporate landscape before selling to corporate, before landing your first six-figure deal? I say that because for most of us, we set our price based on our confidence, not our competence. So the more information you have about how to sell to corporations on a high level, who you should be pitching, what you should be telling them, what you should be selling, what package you need to put your expertise in, the better you're going to be, the more confident you're going to be, and it'll be really easy for you to price yourself out. Now, at the event in November, our 5th session is called Pricing Pathology, setting and framing your price to serve you and your client. So we're going to go through in November a whole session on how to set your pricing. But for now, know this, your number one goal is that it's going to cost you a little bit of time. You're going to have to sit down and figure out, what is this whole corporate selling experience about? And I say that because the language you use to sell to consumers, you can use to sell to corporate. But if you want to sell to corporate at the highest level, you got to have the language down. So the difference between me and another speaker who gets paid less is likely our language and our positioning. Our language and our positioning. It took time for me to learn the language. So now that I have a language, I was about to use a word that we used to use in law school. Now that I have the language, I have the ability to pitch to corporations and I know what to say. It's a lot easier. It doesn't take me as much time to study the language, but it's really important in the beginning that you get with a coach, get with someone who understands the language. Because I know that language is so important, we totally switched up our event dynamics this year, and we added a session. Let me see what session this is. We added a session called the Language Lab, And that is definitely something that we wanted to make sure that we had here so that you all can learn the language. Now I'm going to give you an example of how language is so important. So let's say you're a speaker and you want to sell to a corporation and you've written some articles on LinkedIn, which is something in the book. The first session is called Press, which teaches you how to put out content that attracts your ideal corporate client. So let's say you're doing that. Let's say you're writing an article for LinkedIn. Dope. You're writing an article for LinkedIn. And then a client comes to you and says, okay, great. We really would like a workshop. And, we have clients all over the world, globally. We have clients in all 50 states and in various other countries. And we want to pay you $7,000 to do a workshop. And maybe they say they lowball you. They're like, we want to pay you $5,000 to do a workshop. What is going to be your response? What will you say exactly to that? Here's what I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to use names. Okay. We're going to make this very real, raw, and relevant. I'm going to talk about Sarah and I'm going to talk about Tom. These are not real people. These are fake people. Now, Sarah responds to the corporate client right away and says, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is great. We can definitely make $5,000 work and I'll send you the replay. It's included. No big deal. So excited to do business with you. I'll be there on the 15th. She owns in a contract, nothing. She blocks it off on her calendar. She's ready to go. Now, Tom gets this email from corporate client and Tom is like, Now, Tom has read Speaker Ready Cash. He's read the book. He listens to the podcast. And let's say Tom attended Speaker Ready Cash Live. Now, this is our 6th event. So let's say he went to the 5th one. He went to the one last year. What Tom is going to say, and what all of you astute folks are going to say, is absolutely, I would love to set up a call with you to learn more about your needs. And on that call, what Tom is going to do that Sarah didn't do is Tom is going to do what I talk about in my book and at my events. Tom is going to co-create a vision with this client by way of questions that he asks on the sales call. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty, okay? If this is making sense, just drop a yes. I'm a church girl. I like call and response. And I'm so excited about this. Y'all can tell. So Tom is all right, Tom is co-creating vision by way of questions he asks on the sales call with the client. And by the end of the call, Tom does a wrap-up question. And this is something we're going to be talking about at the event. What do you say on your sales call? I even give you guys a script in the workbook of what to say on a sales call. Literally, we got y'all covered. But what Tom is going to do is going to do a wrap-up at the end of the call. He's going to say, you know what, this sounds great. It sounds like if I could come in and help your employees to be more productive, have a little bit more confidence, and walk away with things that they can implement on that day, that will be valuable to you. Is that right? And she's going to say, yes, that's exactly what I want because I really want blah, 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 blah. She's going to say all these things. And Tom is going to say, okay, excellent. Here's what I can do. You mentioned that you're interested in doing this event live for your U.S. employees, but you want to make sure that people all over the world for your organization will see it. Is that right? Yes. Okay. And you all have about how many people did you say? About 25,000 employees? Yeah, we have about 25,000 worldwide. Okay, excellent. Tom is then going to say, you know what? Here's what I can do for you. I can show up and do the presentation live. It's going to be $15,000 for me to do the curriculum development and show up and give the presentation for 30 minutes. If you would like a Q&A, we can add that in for an additional $5,000, right? So now we're at about $20,000 for your domestic presentation live, and it includes the curriculum design to make some of it custom. And at the event, we'll talk about why doing it custom does not mean you writing a new speech from scratch, because all of your speeches should be based on a framework. Y'all gotta tap in to get the rest of the jewels. But let's just go with this, right? Let's say he does $20,000, which is still moderately low, right? He's like, it's going to be $20,000 for your domestic. But then Tom says, you mentioned you wanted to make sure that your employees globally could access it no matter what time of day or night. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's good. And then Tom will say, okay, great. We have a few different licensing packages that I can tell you about. That way your employees could access it 24/7 on demand for at least 30 days. Does that sound good? And now they're like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Day or night, this is excellent. Okay, great. And then of course, for our licensing fees, we have US rates. And then of course, we have rates for the various countries that you mentioned. We have to, set all of that up on the back end to make sure that makes sense. But can I send you a proposal about that? Yeah, that sounds good. But then the client is like, well, what does that even start at? Well, Our licensing is about $50,000 per year. We could definitely start you off with a 30-day package, and I'll send you our domestic and our global rates. Well, now listen to how that language, do you all see how that language has now clarified what the client actually wants? Because a client can come to you and say, hey, Ashley, I want you to speak live on Tuesday. I mean, that's great, but me speaking live is not just me speaking live. It involves me having a graphic designer create the presentations. It involves me working with my instructional design team to make sure that it is designed well. It involves me customizing the presentation to the audience that I'm speaking to. It involves me providing, we didn't even talk about like if you want a digital companion guide or do you want something shipped to everyone? There are so many different things, and your client won't necessarily have the language to tell you what they want. They're not going to say all that. You have to illustrate to your clients in a very clear way by using language what it is that you want. Now, in order for you to have that conversation with the client, like I just had it fictitiously with you, you have to know the language, understand the language, and be able to regurgitate and position the value of what you're selling. So it's going to cost you some things. What is it going to cost you? Number one, it's going to cost you time. You're going to have to spend some time working with a coach like me to help you understand what each of those elements means so that you can regurgitate it confidently and you can believe in the value that you're selling. We're not tricking clients. We're showing them what they're asking for clearly and making it very evident to them what they're going to get and the transformation that we provide. But language is critical. Now, that was a whole lot. So I'm going to take a beat. I'm going to pause. I'm going to let y'all consume that a little bit. I'm going to let you all consume, because you guys, everything in the world moves off of communication, whether that be words, written or spoken or otherwise communicated. So your language will unlock your earning potential. If you are not where you want to be in terms of the money in your bank account right now on this holiday, if you can't go in your bank account and see what you want, there is a language that you have not unlocked that is going to get you there. If you can't communicate it, people can't pay you for it. And if you don't adequately position it so that people realize, oh, she's not just going to show up and do some speech and give me a little replay. People be like, can I get the replay? Do you mean you want to license my content for a certain period of time? There's a cost for that. So your language is very important when selling to corporations. Why is it so important, particularly when selling to corporations? Because if you don't, first off, I made a post on Instagram that basically said, just because you're a small business doesn't mean you have to do small business. Here's what I meant by that. You may believe that you're a solo practitioner, it's you and your business, you have no employees, you have no contractors, I get it. However, if you want to close 6 multi-6 and 7-figure contracts with corporations, they will move based on contracts. I've never closed a big deal void a contract, a written contract. Every word in that contract helps to communicate what I'm going to do for the client and what they're going to do for me. If you don't understand language, you don't understand what your words mean, you don't understand what people are asking you to do, you can't move them through any type of a sales process that will respect the value of what you do. I don't know where it's at in my book, but I actually say something. I say something like, I can never be paid my worth, but my rate is a requirement. Like, you can't pay me my worth, but my rate is a requirement. My rate, personally, like me, Ashley Nicole Kirkwood, my rate is a requirement because I understand fully the value and the weight of what I bring to any organization that I work with or any consumer that I work with. We have people, first off, everybody can work with you, but that's a whole nother conversation. It is a privilege to work with you when you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And because you know what you're talking about, if y'all know what you're talking about and you know you're an expert, you know your stuff, you know you have something to offer the world, just write, you talking about me, or write, that's me in the comment. So it's a privilege to work with you. It's a privilege to work with you. And so what I will say is that if you're struggling with charging your rate, if you're struggling with getting clients to go through your sales funnel, if you're struggling with finding people that will respect your value, it is only because you have not been clear with the world, with consumers, and with corporations that, honey, it is a privilege to work with me. I don't care if you are Jeff Bezos. I don't care if you are Jeff from down the block. It is a privilege for you to work with me because I know my stuff. I'm not out here faking it till I make it. No, this is a solidified type of knowledge over here. And I bet for you, it's solidified too. You may have a problem packaging it. You may have a problem pricing it, but that's just because you haven't spent the time to spend with a sister like me that's going to unlock that language for you. Because once you do that, it's over. It's over for all your clients because then you're going to know how to communicate it. That language dialogue was everything. That's me, that's me, that's me. Yes, love it. So one, it's going to cost you some time, right? Two, you have to invest. And before because I know a lot of people are like, oh, people always say invest in coaching. What if I don't have it? Blah, blah, blah. Investment is not reduced to only investing money. You have to invest time if you don't have money. If you have money, you can buy time. At this point in my career, I am buying time by way of hiring people to shorten my learning curve. But you have to invest, okay? Very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. So time. We talked about it. You got to have that language right. That language is critical. Here's the other thing it's going to cost you. And this is what people really don't want to pay. People don't want to pay this next thing more than they don't want to pay money. Okay, let me tell you what it is. It's going to cost you your pride. Ooh, let me tell you what I mean. You have to put yourself in a position to be told no. You have to put yourself in a position to be rejected. The human nature is to avoid rejection like the plague. Like literally, people go to great lengths to avoid rejection. That is like what we do as humans, myself included. Like I remember doing things that were like, I didn't want to do them, but I didn't want to be rejected. I remember going to parties. This one time, let me tell you something. In college, I think I got into I barely fought in my life, my younger life. But I went to a party that I knew I wasn't supposed to go to in college because my friends asked me to go. And the Holy Spirit told me, do not go to this party. I went to this party, ended up getting in a little altercation, we'll call it. And I knew I didn't want to go, but why did I do it? Because I didn't want to be rejected by people who I liked. Now, I tell you that story because I guarantee you there is money that you're leaving on the table because you don't want to give up your pride, which tells you to avoid rejection at all costs. Avoid rejection at all costs. You absolutely have to be told no in order to make a ton of money. Like, can we just be honest about that? Like, you have to have a healthy relationship with the word no. You absolutely have to have a healthy relationship with the word no. It's not even something that I can emphasize anymore, but you have to be told no. You have to be ready to sacrifice the piece of you, whether it be, people say, healed your childhood trauma. And I'm not a therapist, so I can't give y'all the right words for that. You got to heal whatever you got to heal, okay? But there is a piece inside of all of us that wants to avoid rejection like a plague. It wants to be liked. It wants to be considered. It's the reason why when my hair ain't done, I think twice about getting on live. It's the reason why I put on a little bit of makeup before I did this today because I didn't, want to look like I was looking for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why I have a good camera instead of a bad camera. But what I will tell you is this. Before I had this camera, before I had this lighting, if you were to go back several years, to when I first started doing live videos on Facebook, I did it in a dark room before I had this beautiful office. I did it when it didn't look right. I did it when I was at a risk for people telling me that I don't look professional or that I don't have the right branding or that I don't have the right colors or that, I need to wear better makeup or that my eyebrows are crooked. I did it with the risk of people saying that I'm not good enough because I knew that in order to have the stamina that it requires for me to close 6, 7-figure deals, I have to be okay with letting my pride be hurt. It doesn't mean that I don't have pride now. I still do. I still want you all to like this content. I still want you all to come to my event. But if nobody else bought a ticket for that event, I'm still going to show up like 1 million people are in the room. If nobody else read this book, I'm still going to produce it and make sure that it's perfect when it gets to your house. Because guess what? Guess what, guys? I now understand 25,000+ sales calls later, millions of dollars in contracts closed later, like thousands of minutes of being told no by clients that I wanted to work with later. I understand that it is only in being okay with my pride being hurt that I could land larger deals. Okay? Real talk, right? Real talk. That is real talk. So it's going to cost you your pride. Quick question. Will you let me coach you for 3 days? Look, I know that it will be life-changing. I have seen it with my own eyes. So I want you to join me at Speak Your Way to Cash Live 2021, November 4th through the 6th. It's a hybrid event and it's our 6th one, okay? I'm not trying these strategies out on you all. I'll be teaching you what you need to land 5- and 6-figure corporate speaking contracts, grow your speaking business, sell to large and medium-sized corporations as well as colleges, and get the press that you need to start getting some of those inbound inquiries that everyone wants. We'll cover pitching. We'll cover press. We'll cover assembling your proposal and proposal writing. We'll make sure that we also cover how to deliver a rock-solid speech, develop your framework, and guess what, guys, if you've attended in the past, this year is 100% new content, same focus, all right? So I want you to join me there. And if you get a VIP ticket, you can meet me live. We will be live and in person in Chicago, Illinois. And so come on in. We have various safety protocols to keep everyone safe, but it's going to be one of the best investments you make in your life. And our reviews tell us that is a 100% truth. All right. So if you want to come, just go to speakyourwaytocash.com/event. Speakyourwaytocash.com/event, because I want to coach you for 3 days and help you to start speaking your way to cash. Talk to you soon, guys. Let's get back to this episode. We talk a lot about how good it feels to land a $150,000 contract, how great it feels to close a $180,000 contract, how amazing I feel when a client signs on to $70,000 a year. But the problem is most people will never feel those good feelings. They won't feel those feelings consistently, let me be clear, because they are very afraid of, one, investing the time and money in learning the language, because you got to do that, and two, sacrificing their pride. Now, I'm looking for some people who are like, okay, Ashley, you challenged me. I'm ready to sacrifice my pride. I'm ready to be told no. I understand that that's what it's going to take in order for me to get to my next level. I understand that that's what it's going to take in order for me to land large deals. You have to be okay with people telling you, I don't want that. And here's the reason why it's hard. It's hard because we don't like it when people say, no, that's not good enough. Or explain to me why you're charging that. Or verify to me that you are who you say you are. Show me video of you speaking. We are in a society right now where it is literally unpopular to challenge or question anything. Like, we're in the society where we are supposed to applaud things that really may not deserve applause. And so we're really at the time where it's like, if they don't want me, then don't talk to me. Like Fantasia said, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Like, we there. You know what I mean? Like, we're at that point. But the truth of the matter is, when you get into this corporate space and they're about to drop $150,000, they're going to spend $700,000 on a contract, you're negotiating royalties and licensing fees that you'll get for the rest of your life, they're going to question you, okay? And let me tell you this, anything that is solid can withstand inspection. There's a reason why you don't buy a house before the inspector comes, no matter how much you like the house. It is foolish to buy a house before it can be inspected. So now I have people who are like, I want to come to your event. I have people who are like, I just bought my ticket to your event. Before I bought it though, I binged like 10 hours of your content. I listened to all your episodes of your podcast. Why? Because people don't want to get scammed. Companies are the same way. They don't want to get scammed. They want to make sure that you are who you say you are. And whenever you are who you say you are, when something is within you, when something is a part of you, when that is what you do and who you are, there will be evidence of it. You will have a track record of it. And so I got to help y'all with something, because I know it's a lot of people on the internet telling you if they don't buy on the first big, just move on. There's a ton of other fish in the sea. Big contracts have to withstand inspection. Big money doesn't move quickly all the time. It's going to need to be, there's going to be some inspection. There's going to be a contract. There's going to be back and forth. And so, yeah, baby, as much as you may want to get $1 million in 30 days, that's not always how it works. But if you have the stamina, okay, if you have the stamina to do this, you will be able to close deals that your children can eat from. Because let me tell you something else about corporations. Corporations are what I like to call legacy clients, not because they're going to write a book about it or whatever else. They're legacy clients because, and let me be very clear about this, because that word legacy is used a lot. They are legacy clients because they are the types of clients that build behemoths of industry. I wasn't even gonna go here today, but I'm gonna tell you all this. Think about, I worked at a law firm that was founded in the early 1900s. It's called Kirkland Ellis, very big law firm, great law firm. When I looked at some of the clients that helped them become the giant that they are in the industry, they were all large corporations, right? They grew to be large corporations. Well, why is that? Because when you work with a Chase Bank, and these are just examples, a Blue Cross, a Pfizer Pharmaceutical, when you work with a large client, yes, things can happen. Yes, they can go out of business. And yes, there are some things that can happen. But for the most part, you can rely on them to be here over the next 10 years. You can rely on them to be here for the next 50 years. You can look back and see centuries that these companies have impacted. These are the types of clients that I want us to go get. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I believe it has been a systematically impressed fear that has kept Black people, women, and marginalized groups that have been under-resourced for basically racist reasons from playing in this space, because we don't always have the language, because we don't always know exactly what to do, and because our pride has kept us from learning. And let me tell you, let me make it really clear about pride. You all have to get in spaces. If you want to play, if you like what I'm talking about, if you're like, yep, I want a $150,000 client. Yep, I want a 7-figure client. If you want to play in this space, let me tell you what you have to do. You have to get in rooms where it's okay for you to look quote unquote stupid, where it's okay for you to ask quote unquote dumb questions, where you're going to get the information that you need, where you're not going to be belittled, where you're going to get the information that you need that will empower you to dominate in these spaces. I believe that certain groups have been systematically kept out of playing in corporate, rising through the corporate ranks and landing corporate clients. It's on both ends that we do not typically show up. And it's because of the language. It's because we don't necessarily have the roadmap. I'm giving that. So meet me at Speak Your Ready Cash Live. But we have some more things to get through. So time, we talked about time. That's a big one. Pride, we talked about pride. Ego, that's the other one. It's going to cost you a little bit of your ego. You may be told that not only did we not go with your company, we went with another company. Here's the other thing that's going to happen. You may negotiate. Because one thing I talk about in the book is that in order to get big money, you got to walk away from small money because capacity is limited. For most people I work with, everyone has capacity. But if you are like most of my clients, you either have a full-time job where you're operating in your expertise and you're doing this on the side. You're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you're a thought leader, you're a therapist, accountant, doctor, lawyer, an entrepreneur who's had some success. You are someone who's had some success in some area of your life. But you may not have a team of 50 plus consultants who can go in and deliver on the contract. So you have limited capacity. If you are who I'm talking to, then you have to understand this very simple but profound point. Capacity is limited. In order to take big money, you have to say no to small money, because small money fills up your time in the same way as big money, if not more. What do I mean by that? You landing a 100, and this is a mindset shift that a lot of people had to make. You landing a $100,000 contract does not mean you're working every single day of the 365 days of the year to fulfill on that contract. You're not. But if you have 50 smaller contracts, it is likely that it's taking up a good amount of your time. So you can't even properly see opportunities because you're not rested enough to see the opportunity, because your plate is overflowing with small meals. So you're going to say no to small money in order to get big money. But what that means is you may start negotiating for yourself. You may start negotiating these contracts. You're like, Ashley, I made them pay my rate. I told them to pay my rate. They walked away and hired somebody cheaper. Yeah, that can happen. That's a real concern. That's a real cost. That is a real cost. Yes, that can happen. Let me be honest with you guys. That can happen. Not only can it happen, I am almost like, there's no way that has not happened to me. There's no way that has not happened to me. We had a client actually tell me, oh, we're going to go with somebody cheaper. And that's okay. And that's okay. And the reason you learn how to sell, the reason you learn how to prospect, the reason you learn how to speak the language is because you develop a pipeline that is robust enough to withstand some hits. This is not about landing every contract, even if you're a beast. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's about landing enough of the right clients such that you can fill your cup and not be overworked and overwhelmed, which is something that we talk about in the book. You do not want to be, I do my best work, okay? I do my best work when I am well rested and well paid. Let me just read y'all this couple of sentences. This is on page 31 of my book that just came out and it's on pre-order now. I love that I can change someone's life through speaking, but I am able to do my best work and serve people at the highest level when I am well rested and well paid. Period. End of story. Wrap it up. That's in the book. Like, it is what it is. That is what it is. I do my best work when I'm well rested and well paid. When I'm well rested, I can dream. When I'm well rested, I can think. The reason why we're having a session called The Dreamers Den at Speaker Ready Cash Live in November is because I realize that most of us are so inundated with thoughts, parenting obligations, spouse obligations, client work, that we don't even take time to dream or to visualize. But I'm going to show you all in this Dreamers Den session, which we made sure that it was trademarked before the session. We went and filed all the trademarks for these dynamic sessions we're going to do. But the reason we put Dreamers Den as a session at the event in November is because science has proven that if you have the ability to work your mind, visualize, and dream, it has a profound impact on your actions. So it's not just mindset. It is literally your ticket to your next level. So had to put that out there. So we talked a little bit about what it will cost. It's going to cost you some time. It may cost you some money because you have to learn the language to sell to large corporations. It's going to cost you your pride. You have to put yourself in a position to be told no. It's going to cost you your ego. You may be told that you're not going to get the contract and that they went with somebody else. Ouch, right? Like, it may cost you all of those things, but the reward is being well rested, being well paid, and having clients that believe so much in what you do that they are willing and excited to pay you. Why are they excited? Because you co-created vision with them. Now, it's a lot to get through, but we are going to get through that as well at the event. How do you co-create vision with a corporate client on a sales call? And I'm going to give you guys, it's actually the workbook that we're giving out at the event, but I'm actually going to give you guys a sales script and take you through all the various stages of selling to corporations, because I think that's really important for you to have. So all that to say, yes, landing six-figure contracts is dope. Yes, it's an awesome thing to do. Yes, it's incredible, but yes, there's a cost. Yes, there's a cost. And if you're someone who listened to this whole thing, you rocked with me for the last 36 minutes and you're like, okay, I heard you. I heard it's going to cost some time. I heard it's going to cost some money. It's going to cost an investment to work with someone like you, because I can't teach y'all to land big deals, be well rested and well paid, and give away my expertise, which is proprietary to me, for pennies. That would be foolish, and you wouldn't even want to work with someone who does that. But what I am going to do is invite about 100 or so of you to come and meet me in November at Speaker Ready Cash Live. Most of those tickets are gone. We have about maybe 5 VIP spots left, because we have restrictions. The room seats hundreds of people, but we're like seriously distancing for the VIP in-person tickets. And we have a virtual option for you as well. And because it's Labor Day, listen to me good, because I don't really do sales that often. So listen to me good on this. Because it's Labor Day, what we're going to do is give everyone who buys their ticket today access to our pre-event prospecting party. That one bonus is worth the entire cost of the conference. That's coming up on September 20th, because some people were like, what if I don't want to wait till November and I want to learn and I want to get more stuff now? The prospecting party is September 20th, so you don't have to wait long, 2 weeks. That party is where I will share my screen, show you how I find prospects on LinkedIn, the technology that I use to pitch them, show you how I send sales emails to them without getting stressed out and overwhelmed, the technology I use to do that. I'll answer all your questions about prospecting so that the technical aspect of it doesn't slip you up. And then you'll come to the event in November and get even more. Plus, we added a bonus Q&A session for people who want to hone in about their topic. It's a bonus Q&A coaching call that we're going to do, I believe, in October, to tell you a little bit more about like the topics that corporations are willing and ready to buy right now. So if you're like, I know I got expertise, I don't know how to package it, that bonus is for you. And this is all the stuff you're getting before the event. Plus, we're shipping out boxes to everyone who registers before the end of this month. I think there's like 24 days left to register. You're going to get a printed workbook, an advanced reader copy of my book, hundreds of dollars of bonuses from our sponsors, which are no lightweights. Our sponsors are Uncloned Marketing, Smith AI, Mobile General Counsel, the law firm that I founded, and Dipsato. Hundreds of dollars of bonuses will be sent to you from them. Plus, you get this beautiful hard copy journal which is beautiful, brand new. It's not even like available to the public yet. You'll get this as well that you can take notes in for the entire event. It's just like you get amazing things shipped to your door, and all the stuff that we ship, you keep that for life. So this isn't you're going to get something to take away for life before you even show up in the door. That's how we do it over here. Our events are spectacular experiences. And if you're interested in that at all, then I would implore you to get your ticket today and go to speakyourreadycash.com/event so that you can take advantage of this, because I know that it's something that I really, 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 really want you guys to be able to take advantage of. So hopefully you all can see this landing page here. You're just going to go to speakyourreadycash.com/event and check out. Now, secure your seat. There are 2 tickets you can get. The virtual ticket is $1,200 for all 3 days of coaching. And the VIP in-person ticket, where you come hang out for 3 days in person with me, get bonus breakfast sessions each day, breakfast Q&As where I'll have breakfast with you for the 3 days of the event, that is $2,500. So those are your 2 options to get your tickets, all right? So do that. Run and do that now, because I'm telling you, give me 3 days and I will change your life. This event is life-changing. The information has not been taught anywhere else. And from people who've already had a sneak peek of the book and all the goodies within it, they're like, they've never even heard anyone teach speaking the way that I teach it. And you ain't gonna never hear nobody teach speaking the way that I teach it, with the information that I utilize to teach it, because of my legal background, because I negotiate deals like none other, and because I understand how to do that. I bring that same level of expertise to what I do in the speaking world and how I help speakers. So go to speakyourreadycash.com/event, get your ticket today. In addition to everything you see here about what we'll give you at the event and what you'll learn, I'll also give you access to the pre-event prospecting party. Okay. Yes, I saw that. Your friend just took advantage of the Bring a Friend ticket. Yes, love it. So, I mean, y'all, it's going to be off the chain. If y'all love these last 40 minutes, and imagine what 3 days would do. So excited about the event and all that it is bringing to it. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have questions and you want to ask me your questions right now, for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, I will exclusively be on Clubhouse. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you go to Clubhouse. It's an app. You can download it for free. Everyone has access to it now. And in Clubhouse, what you should do, and I think I can maybe post the link to it. But for Clubhouse, what you should do is look up the Speaker Ready Cash Lounge. I'm live right now on Clubhouse in the Speaker Ready Cash Lounge. I'm going to take a few questions before we close this out. But again, thank you so very much for listening to this session. Whether you're listening to it on the podcast or watching it live, I appreciate you. And I will see you guys in November at speakyourreadycash.com/event at the Speaker Ready Cash live event. And for everyone else who, for whatever reason, cannot attend the event, and you're like, I can't attend the event, I'm going to miss all the jewels of your last 3-day live experience event, but I do want to pre-order the book. You can go right now to speakyourreadycash.com/book and pre-order the event. If you're like, I ain't gonna remember all these links, just go to speakyourreadycash.com. All the links are there. You'll be able to pre-order the book as of right now, and make sure that on November 15th, you are one of the first people to receive this dynamic book, 273 pages, 6 parts, chock full of information. And after each chapter, we have an Act Your Way to Cash section. This book has templates in it. I mean, I don't even know if you all can actually see this if you're joining me on Facebook, but it has all types of like charts. And I think we have 6 graphs and charts. I mean, I put my foot in this book, okay? So make sure you pre-order the book. If literally nothing else, you will want to receive that book. But now I'm going to turn over and do the Q&A. So join me on Clubhouse if you'd like to take part in that. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for listening to the Speaker Ready Cash podcast and hanging out with me. I will see you guys at the event in November.
All right. Wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time, Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to AshleyNicoleKirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section, and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.